Well, I'm Vara again.
And I'm Roxy. Those.
Again. And you're listening to VCR. How is everyone? How are you, Roxy?
I am okay.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Had a very fun weekend. I know you
Oh
did.
my goodness. Yes, yesterday was crazy busy for me, but it was great.
Mm-mm. Well, good for you. Yesterday was weird for me. It was going to the hardware store, getting annoyed in the line of the hardware store, tracking down a friend's boyfriend, and that ended up being like, wow, that was wow. And and fun things like that was my day yesterday. And then today, all kinds of fun excitement as well. Like I have the joy of cleaning out the turtle tank today because,
Fun.
yeah, the rest of our audience may not know this. So I have gotten two turtles to go along with my three dogs. And not by choice, but anyway, I've rescued some turtles and I've named them Laurel and Hardy. So,
They are
just
adorable.
they are adorable, and Mara is obsessed with them. It's the other weird thing. So I sent Roxy a video yesterday of a Mara just being obsessed and
Just
staring.
staring at them,
Yeah,
just
just
watching them.
hardcore, like, oh my God, what are they? Why are they here? Type of situation. So that's been fun. But speaking of strange things, let's get into some strange movies, but not exactly strange. So today we're jumping into cult films or cult classic films. Now, before you start wondering what a cult is and thinking maybe it's some type of weird religion that worships weird things, that's not the cult we're talking about. We're talking about cult film. So, definition of a cult film is some type of film. It could be either an underground film that's kind of come up, which is what we tend to think it is, or it can be a popular film that has kind of like a subcultural following, people who, they play it all the time, people dress up, they go and do, quote offs type of thing, and it's just a film that has somehow resonated with the people and for some odd reason has a huge fan base or following. So that's a cult film. And there are a lot of interesting definitions and examples of a cult film. One of my favorite cult films, and one of a really good example of a cult film that kind of went straight to VHS back in the day and then boom, got big, was Boondock Saints 1. 2 was,
Mhm.
but 1 was excellent. Boondock Saints 1 is a great example of a cult film. Love that film. It really is excellent. And then you have others that are more common, such as the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where people dress up, they go do the sing-alongs or performances, the film.
Just went to one of those a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and how did you like it?
Well, first of all, that's one of my favorite
Hmm.
cult classics. It's like my top five.
Hmm.
So I love going to those interactive ones where like you can sing and dance with them or they put on like the performance while the movie's playing. I love those things. I really enjoyed that one.
So this one that you went to, was it one with performers or was it just people
Yes,
dressed up?
they had people in the audience that came to see the movie dressed up and stuff, but they did have like a small performance before the movie.
Okay.
And they basically just sang like some of the songs.
All right, very good. I bet
Yeah.
was one of them Time Warp.
Of course, of
Yes,
course. Like you
everyone
can't do
loves.
it without that.
Yeah, everyone loves Time Warp from Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Yes.
and then all this other good stuff. So yeah, so that's an excellent example of a cult film right there. But there are a lot of films out there that a lot of people would not suspect were cult films, or maybe you did. I don't know. I don't know what your cult tastes are. So let's just name a few before we start really jumping into some categories here. So, just in general, cult films, some of the best ones out there are going to be, for example, me and Roxy were talking about this earlier, but we said The Lost Boys,
Mm,
1980s, The Lost Boys,
yes.
which was the vampire one, which, came out in 1987. The Coreys were in it. Kiefer Sutherland was in it, actually. So, a lot of good actors were actually in that one. But that's a example of a cult film. The Breakfast Club, which I never regarded as a cult film, but apparently it is a cult
It
film.
is very much so.
Yeah, that one is a big one. Written by a big name director, and he directed it and wrote it, John Hughes. And then you
Aren't
also,
most of his movies cult classics?
most of his are huge, just like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, The Breakfast
16
Club,
Candles.
16 Candles. A lot of his movies were just classics in general. Then we jump into a little Tarantino with Reservoir Dogs.
Hmm.
Love that, Mr. Green, Mr. White. But one of my favorites is the dance scene, stuck in the middle with you, and he's cutting up the guy who he thinks is a police officer. That was just a really good film. Uh, One where just about every movie this man made was a cult film. Stanley Kubrick, Clockwork Orange, with a very,
Hmm.
very young Malcolm McDowell. Oh my God, that was a huge one. And one that I've never heard of, The Endless. I'm not familiar with that.
I'm not familiar with that one either. I don't think
I'm
it
just
doesn't
gonna,
sound.
yeah, I'm just gonna throw out a few more for us. One that's ever popular, The Labyrinth. Mr. Jim Henson there. Dance, baby,
I
dance.
absolutely love that movie.
Yes, Mr. David Bowie and his. You remind me of a babe. What babe? Babe with power. What power? The power of voodoo. Who do you do what?
Ooh,
Remind me
remind
of the babe.
me.
And then, of course, just everyone knows it. Scarface.
Hmm. Hmm.
This one I was surprised. Blade Runner, the first one with Harrison Ford. That's
Hmm.
apparently listed as. And then we're back to Tarantino with Pulp Fiction. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely fucking
definitely a
Pulp
cult classic.
Fiction.
That's
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
One of my personal favorites that, again, I never really regarded as a cult film, but apparently I just always thought it was a funny film. Clue, the movie. Also with Tim Curry. Tim Curry was in, of course, Rocky Horror Picture Show as Frankfurter, and he was in Clue as the butler Wadsworth. That was great. He was hysterical in that. Absolutely hysterical. Requiem for a Dream, which I said right this time, that was a good one. In the 2000s, that was a good one about uh basically addiction, really, is what it is. Like everyone has different addictions. If you watch that one, oh, that was so good. So good. This one I had no idea was a cult one. Stigmata,
Oh, I didn't know that
1999.
was a cult
I
classic
had
either. It was a
no idea
great
that was
movie though.
and you can watch that on, oddly, Tubi, and it wouldn't be a bad movie.
Wow, that movie should not be on TV.
Yeah, that really should not.
Great
That's
movie.
actually a good movie. Oh,
Great
it
movie.
really is. This one is one of my personal favorites, and I've mentioned it to you a few times, but you're probably always glazing over me and ignoring me when I say
Probably.
it. I did not know this was a cult classic. It just happened to be one of my favorites, The Burbs with Tom Hanks.
Mm,
That is a great one. Oh my God,
I
that
don't
is
think I've seen
so
that
good.
one.
Yes, yeah, I know. I've mentioned to you a few times. I know you haven't seen it, but me and you actually need to watch this one. This was a really good one. And then one I'm just going to end it on before we jump into a few. Actually, no, I'll give it one more. So Death Becomes Her is a cult one,
Yeah.
and just about any movie that these men made is a cult classic, and Roxy can attest to it. Anything by Cheech and Chong.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Up in smoke, still smoking, probably smoking. Cheech and Chong the
They,
movie. They're
yes.
all cult classics.
Yes.
Um, they even give Texas Chainsaw Massacre a cult film, which, yeah, I can see that. I can totally see that. Totally fucking see that. But Roxy, I'm gonna do what I do and share screen with you. Yes,
No.
I haven't had enough coffee yet. So basically, Roxy, I'm going to give you dealer's choice here. Ready for some dealer's choice?
Sure. What am I picking?
80s classic cult films, 90s classic cult films, or 2000 classic cult films.
Ooh, 90s.
Mm, very good. 2000s classic cult film. All right, 90s classic culters. What do we got here? Some classical one that I did not care for, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny
Really?
I just was not into it. I don't mind drugs, but that was a lot of fucking drugs.
Yeah, a lot
That
of
was
them.
that was a lot of drugs going on there. I'm surprised that man in real life did not die sooner.
No, seriously. Jeez.
The shit that man was on is ridiculous.
Ooh.
I mean, based on the real life story of a writer, wow. That's all I can say is wow. So Fear and
Yeah,
Loathing on Las Vegas is a good one, but let me tell you, people, a lot of fucking drugs. A lot of fucking drugs.
a lot, a lot.
One that I'm sure Roxy can appreciate here, Dazed and Confused.
I
Sorry, what?
have actually not seen that.
What?
I know. I
No.
know.
Oh my God.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
I've seen it and you haven't? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
Oddly enough, I know some quotes from it, but
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever watched it like through like all the way through.
Mhm. I'm gonna skip ahead to a couple of them. Of course, I mentioned a few of these earlier, but I'm going to jump right into Cruel Intentions
Oh,
was a
love that movie.
yes, and a very dark, perverse movie. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was really, really perverse, but yes, a really, really good movie though. Cruel Intentions. You haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. That was a good one. Of course, you have the classic Pulp Fiction, The Virgin Suicides. I'm not familiar with that. Is that something you're familiar with?
I watched it, but I don't like it was so long ago. I don't remember.
Hmm.
But I am familiar with the movie.
I'm gonna jump down a row. Ed Wood was really good. I saw that. I don't know if you saw it. It was actually about the director Ed Wood, who was actually creating like old cheap black and white horror movies back in the day, and he did revive Bela Lugosi's career after Bela Lugosi got strung out on heroin, and
Mm,
he created some very popular cult films back in the day. This was a star-studded cast with Johnny Depp. And then you also had, oh God, why am I forgetting her name? Sarah Jessica Parker. It did star the guy who did get in trouble. He was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and he was
mm,
also the dad in Beetlejuice 1, but got in trouble for some kitty stuff.
Shame,
And
shame.
so, yeah, so he's in there too, but it is actually a really good film. This one, something that everyone kind of knows about, Empire Records.
Yes.
I remember that. 1990, by just a little history for you. I graduated high school in 1995. So, yeah, there you go. Empire Records,
Damn.
whatever. Anyway, oh God. So Empire Records was a good, it was a weird one. It was just about the lives of these people hanging out in,
That work at a record store.
yeah, who work at a record store. And I was like, oh,
It
okay.
was almost like Clerks.
It was, I feel Clerks is better though.
Oh
Clerks,
yeah, way better. But it's very
yeah,
similar
Clerks is
idea wise.
the best example of a cult film.
Yeah.
Clerks one, best example of a cult film. Absolutely love it. Kevin Smith, in my eyes, cannot do wrong.
Right.
I love that man's work. Jay and Silent Bob are the best characters ever created, as far as I'm concerned. And
Yeah.
I'm sure they are Roxy's heroes too.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God, I love Jay. Jay is so hysterical. He
He
is.
is.
The
He is
stuff
so
that comes
funny.
out is, I've always wanted to be an ast. Why can't I do something great like be an astronaut, go off to space? find a new life form, an alien life form, and fuck it. And I was like,
It's so dumb.
it's
Uh,
Silent Bob's face.
his facial expressions are so great.
Oh my God. Oh, oh my God. Yeah, so definitely Clerks 1 is something you gotta check out. Definitely, definitely.
hmm
One that annoyed me ever so was Clueless. I was not
I was gonna say, you better not say Crybaby. I'm gonna be so bad.
I didn't care for Crybaby.
I
I did
love
not care for
Crybaby.
you would, but I did not care for Crybaby at all.
I loved it. I loved it
Hmm.
so much. And that's where I fell in love with Johnny Depp.
I bet you did.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I'm surprised you didn't fall in love with bad boys from this movie here, Natural Born Killers.
Um, that did not help.
That did not
Definitely did not help.
that did not help your bad boy obsession
It,
there.
it did not. It might have added fuel to the fire.
Oh God, that was an NC-17 and that came out in 1994 and I'll never forget when he married her in front of his car, as my witness, we are
Yeah,
married here. And I
yeah,
was like, wow. Again, another movie with a lot of drugs going on.
yeah. Great movie though.
Great
Great
movie.
movie.
Mr. Woody Harrelson there,
hmm
excellent actor. One that I am embarrassed to say, well, first off, one that I know everyone loves is Edward Scissorhands. You know,
Yes. Love,
us.
love, love.
Sadly, I want to say that was also Vincent Price's last movie before he passed away. Was Edward
Mm.
Scissorhands. So much respect to that. And of course, it's a Tim Burton classic. Of course, he has a couple of classics, even with Nightmare Before Christmas. That man has produced a couple of good cult classics there.
hmm
One that freaked me out when I saw it, but it was still good. Jacob's Ladder.
Mm.
That was a mind fuck. If you haven't seen it, you need to check out Jacob's Ladder. One that we have to just give props to because we're both Hispanics, Blood In, Blood Out.
Yes,
You gotta love the Blood In, Blood Out. That came out in 1993. Excellent movie. A lot of stabbing,
a
so
lot.
just get comfortable with the stabbies because that's going to happen. This one, it was one of those where I watched it once and I never had to see it again. It was good enough one time. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I did like it. The Big Lebowski.
Mm.
And I know a lot of people love that movie. It is the movie about the dude. And a
Yeah.
lot of people like quote this movie like crazy. So The Big Lebowski is a big one. Uh Anything else here in the 90s?
We're not gonna skip over The
Probably.
Craft and Jawbreakers because those movies were like big in my teenage years for me.
I never saw Jawbreakers.
Oh my God, Rose McGowan,
Never saw it.
such a good movie. You
What
have
was
to
the
watch
other
it.
one you said?
The Craft.
Oh, The Craft. Yes, I remember The Craft. Oh God, I remember The Craft. Everyone loved that movie about the
hmm
witchcrafties. The Craft was a big one. Another one that I feel that we just need to mention out of respect, mad props over here. Fight Club.
Yes.
First rule
Don't talk
about
about
Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club, bitch.
it. Yes.
One that I remember just because it was weird, The Faculty. That was a weird one. And of course, I don't know how you missed this, Half Baked.
I wasn't. I was waiting for us to get to that line.
Oh, okay. And
But
then
yeah, I know that movie that word for word.
yeah, I bet you do. I bet you do.
That is my movie.
And some of these are Cable Guy.
Cable Guy was okay.
Yeah, I don't know if
The
I
Faculty was all right.
Showgirls, that was a terrible movie. I don't care what anyone says. That was a terrible movie. Just
It wasn't that
it's
bad.
pretty fucking bad, actually.
Doo
One that everyone loves, Army of Darkness. Dark City was one that I couldn't get into it. I just could not get into it.
Mm-mm.
Hackers was good though. And I know this one's one of my sister's favorites is
Drop Dead
Drop Dead
Fred.
Fred.
I love that movie.
Event Horizon was not a very good movie, if you ask me. I didn't care
Mm-hmm.
for it, but Frighteners was great. Michael J. Fox in
Mm-hmm.
Frighteners, excellent, excellent movie right there. The Fifth Element, I don't know if I'd jump that into a cult movie. And then to Wong Fu, thanks from Julie Newmar.
Hmm.
That was good. That was good. I don't know if I would have thrown that in a cult movie classic,
I
but
would.
really? You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good then. So those are some cult ones. Dealer's Choice, Roxy, 80s to 2000s, 80 to 2000.
2000s.
Very good. We're going to go into the
80s were
80s
in.
because that's what I grew up with. So actually did it. She didn't think I was going to do it.
No, I knew you were gonna do it.
Yeah, whatever. So anyway, some of the best cult classics come from the 80s
Ooh, I
here.
see some of my faves.
Yeah, I know it. So we got the Lost Boys, which you mentioned earlier. The
Yeah.
first Beetlejuice, absolutely, absolutely. Another one that's on Roxy's list, The Goonies. I know that, right? Am I
Yep.
wrong?
Mm-hmm.
The Goonies. Uh, The Outsiders, I'm gonna be honest with you, was not one of my favorites. I know it was huge with
Yeah,
people, just was not my thing. Was not. Sid and Nancy is one I do not remember, so I don't. I'd have to
I don't
check
remember
that
them
out.
either.
The Last Dragon, I do remember as a cult film. That one was perfect. One that is an excellent cult film. Jim Henson here, and this is number two for Jim Henson because you had the Labyrinth and then you had the Dark Crystal.
That one was one of my favorites.
That is
I
one of my favorites.
loved that one.
The imagery in that is absolutely mind-blowing. The fact that it
Hmm.
was so dark and creepy, but yet there is something so absolutely beautiful and not
Hmm.
scary about it, because some of those creatures were very scary and terrifying for a
They
child.
were
Yet
just looking at it.
you just were not scared of it for some reason. So
Mm-mm.
Dark Crystal, till this day, is one of my favorites. Um, I don't know what it is, but the Dark Crystal, and it took them years to make that. I think it took them like 5 years just to make that movie. But the
Hmm.
Dark Crystal was the most excellent movie. One that I'm going to throw out there because it is a great one, and everyone loves it. The Princess Bride.
Yes, love. Can't have a list without that.
As you
No,
wish.
no, 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 no.
Have you the wings? Oh my God. That, the rodents of enormously large size. They get every woman's favorite, as you wish.
That's right.
Oh my God. Ghostbusters, they consider to be a cult film. I
I can
don't
see that.
know. I'm if you can see it. I'm iffy on it. I'm iffy on it. I do not regard E.T. as a cult film. I do not. Do you? What would you? I don't throw it in cult. I won't give it cult.
No, 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 not a cult classic. A classic, yes. I don't know about cult classic.
Hmm. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, definitely a classic. I'm
Uh,
assuming Roxy has not seen it, have you?
what, Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, which one was the one that you said that you hadn't seen by? Anyway, that was a different discussion we had some time ago. But yeah, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is most excellent. Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. The Never-Ending Story. La 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 la
I
la
love
la.
another one for me.
Yes, yes.
The
Little Shop
next
of
like four are,
Yes.
yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors was excellent.
Little shop, little-
Little Shop of Horrors. Now, before it became that 80s musical back way back when Roger Corman did it as a black and white movie, which is what also had a cult following. Incidentally, it was also the movie that started Jack Nicholson's career.
Hmm.
Little Shop of Horrors, the original and the musical. And then Roxy's favoriteest person in the world here, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Yes.
Which, by the way, Roxy had an amazing photo shoot dressed as Elvira not that long ago, and she just looks absolutely stunning. You need to go check that out on her pages, which you'll get at the end of the show if we stop
Yes.
talking in time. Uh, you also have Gremlins. Gremlins is a cult classic, which I can see
Gremlins or
that.
Gremlins?
Gremlins.
Gremlins. You had a bee in it.
Anyway, so oddly, it took me forever to realize that Howie Mandel is the voice of Gizmo. I did not know that. For the longest, I had no earthly idea that Mandel was the voice of Gizmo. They Live, never saw it. Back to the Future. I can see it. I
I
like
could see
that.
that.
I could totally see it. Again, Sid and Nancy, never saw. Breakfast Club, Last Dragon, blah, 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 blah. The Burbs, one of my favorites. Absolutely. Return to Oz was good. I will give you that one.
That, yeah.
That was creepy as fuck for a child's movie, but Return to Oz was good.
I mean, no creepier than Dark Crystal.
I want to say that the Wheelers were a little bit creepier than Dark Crystal, if you ask me, because their intent was to really hurt Dorothy.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, they're creepy as fuck. Uh Teen Wolf. I can see it. I never thought it,
Mhm.
but I can definitely see it. And
Definitely.
we mentioned Clue earlier. Anything on here that kind of calls to Roxy? Oh,
Mhm.
I already
The
see one.
Heathers.
The Heathers. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The Heathers are going to call to her. And the one next to it, An American Werewolf in London.
Hmm.
Oh,
Ooh, Legend.
ooh, Werewolves of London. I'm Legend, yes, that was a big one. That really
Hmm.
was. Amara is also
Ooh,
barking because of a legend here. Let's see what else is
Bill
in
and
that.
Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is very true. What is this one? Flight of the Net. That was good. That was a Disney one, to be honest. That
Mm.
was good. And this one, Flash Gordon. This was huge back in the day. It was a cult film, lamest thing you could ever see. It was just fucking big. And apparently it was big for Seth MacFarlane because they actually made reference to this in Ted and brought back the original Flash
Oh,
Gordon actor.
yeah.
So that is him. And that was just a huge thing. Amara, shut up. And then you have Willow. I forgot about Willow.
Oh my gosh, Willow.
hmm And we're
Fast
going to
Times at Ridgemont High.
Yes, I was gonna put that one was a big one. And one that I remember, War Games. That was huge because that came out during the Cold War. We were already paranoid about nuclear war and the US and the Soviet going at it. So War Games did not help. The name of the machine was Whopper. So it was a big deal for Burger King when this thing came out.
Yeah, I imagine.
Oh my God. Highlander. That definitely a cult one, Highlander. Class of 1984. I do not remember that. I don't remember that. Do
Definitely
you?
don't remember that. Mm-mm.
Repo Man. I know this is a big cult one. I never saw it, but
Have
I
never
did
seen it.
I did see Repo the rock opera, which is not based on this, I don't believe. But that one was a weird one. The rock opera one was very weird. So, well, no. Anyway, we will move on to something else. We're now going to jump into 2000s cult classics, and we got some good ones here, just right off the bat in 2000. Uh, Requiem for a Dream, which we've already talked
There's the one you
about.
was talking about.
Yeah, Donnie
Oh,
Darko.
yes, Donnie Darko.
Ooh, someone got a little excited there. That voice went up a few octaves. They were like,
Woo.
"Ooh, Donnie Darko." Mm.
There's the
American Psycho.
Jennifer's Body.
I remember that. She was a vampire, right?
No, not I don't think it was a vampire, but she was definitely something.
Okay, so yeah, so Jennifer's Body was a good one. Then you have one of a lot of people's favorites, American Psycho. That
Hmm.
scene where he's explaining Huey and Lewis and the News being the greatest band ever before he puts an axe in someone's head was
Hmm.
absolutely choice and brilliant. This one, oh my God, oh my God, Napoleon Dynamite.
Hmm.
That was so damn good.
Yeah.
Idiocracy is more of a documentary now than
Yeah,
anything
no,
else.
seriously, it
I-
really is. It
Idiocracy is,
started out as a joke,
yeah, and now it's just like, oh my God, this is
and
so.
now we're living it.
Yep. Idiocracy is definitely a good one. Highly recommend. Willard is a continuation from the movie Ben growing up about the rats. The
Mm.
horror movie in the 80s, Ben Willard is a continuation of that
Oh, yes,
story.
I remember Willard. That
Yeah,
was a good
that
movie.
that really was. That was pretty creepy in itself.
Hmm.
One of my personal favorites, Super Troopers. I love
I
Super
did not
Troopers.
like that movie.
I love Super
I couldn't
Troopers.
do it.
Oh my God, that was so good. How many a liter
So
cola?
dumb.
Oh God,
It
I
was
love
so
Super
stupid.
Troopers was so fucking funny if you ask me. Brick. Oh my God, if you have not seen that, you need to see this. God dang it, my mouse here. Brick was excellent. 2005, highly recommend, very
I feel
choice. It is a modern murder mystery set in a high school, but written in a noir style. It is excellent. Oh my God, it was great.
feel like I've seen it,
It's
but I'm having trouble.
you need to check it out. It is so good. If you haven't, you need to jump on that. Juno was not my favorite. I don't
It
know how
was
you
okay.
felt about Juno. Was not
It was
the
okay.
the Ring. Everyone raved about
Yes.
that. I didn't find
Love it.
it.
Scared the shit out of me.
I
That
was
was the first movie to scare the shit out of me in a long time when
I
I
was
first
actually
saw it.
very bored with that. I was super bored with the Ring. Zoolander, yes,
Yes.
love Zoolander. Bagato, oh my God, he's my favorite. You got to check him out. Pan's Labyrinth,
Yes.
oh, visually stunning,
Yes.
brilliant story.
Mm-hmm.
Del Toro, just excellent, excellent in that movie. You need to check out
Mm-hmm.
Labyrinth. Um,
Shaun
Shaun
of the Dead.
of the Dead. Oh, we both got it. Yeah, Shaun of the Dead.
Bring it on. You
Si-
can't skip
Simon,
over Bring It On.
Bring It On was, I don't know about that, but going back to Shaun of the Dead, absolutely brilliant,
You
hysterical zombie movie. You got to
really is.
check that out.
But you
Bring It On.
definitely can't skip over Bring It On. Bring It On is very cult classic. People quote a bunch of shit from that.
Okay, skipping Bring It On and
No, you can't even have like if you go somewhere and go brr, they're gonna say it's cold out here. There must be some toros in this atmosphere. Like it goes with the movie. People will know.
uh-huh. And then you
Just because you don't know about it.
That's right. And
Oh,
then
Sin City.
yeah, my next one, Sin City, was an excellent dark film. Oh my God, that was so good. Sin City is in a star-studded cast. Bruce Willis, kind of leading it
Mhm.
off, and the rest of them were just absolutely excellent. A funny cult classic here, Anchorman. Loved Anchorman.
Couldn't
Loved
stand
it.
it.
I am trapped in a glass of emotions. Uh, it was just so stupid. You're not Ron.
Mm-mm.
Oh my God, love Dweebs. Don't remember Dweebs.
Mm-mm.
Envy is not something I remember. Hot Fuzz, yes and please. Hot Fuzz, also a
No,
Simon
another
Pegg.
one that was a no for me.
Anyway, so that was a great movie. Hot Fuzz was just so fucking good, making fun of every possible cop movie out there. That was brilliant. Something that a lot of people like that I never got into was White Chicks.
I was just about to say white chicks.
Yeah. This is the one that I was talking about, Repo, the genetic opera. So bad, but so good at the same time. You gotta check it out. Repo's this futuristic place where um, people who are dying of liver failure or organ failure, they get new organs. But if they cannot pay for the organs, the repo man goes and pulls it right out of them. And it's done as an opera. It is
Hmm.
excellent. Most excellent.
Hmm.
Excellently bad. The Stepford Wives. The original one was really good, and this one was actually really good. The one in 2000 was really good. I hear there's another version of it eventually coming out, too. But Stepford Wives was good. Um, what Josie and the Pussycats was not one that I really saw or recommended at the time. But
I definitely saw it.
and did you recommend?
I mean, I guess if you're in your late teens, early 20s, yeah.
Hmm. All I can say is Rosario Dawson's in it, and I love Rosario Dawson. She is
Me too.
just
I do love her.
the epitome of gorgeous, and
Hmm.
what all women should look like is Rosario Dawson in my mind. But that's just me. But maybe you have a different woman that you think they should look like. You can email your favorite cult classics to us at the VCR show at the VCR show at gmail.com, and our instant Twitter at the VCR show, YouTube, the VCR show, our defunct website, the VCRshow.com. And if you want to check out Roxy's beautiful and sexy Elvira costumes, you can do so at her socials, which are
On Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRocks428, and on TikTok at the Pop Rocks. And Pop Rocks is spelled POPROXX.
as always, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you've been listening to VCR.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at The VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show's song is Addict by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.